If you would have told me 7 years ago that I would be more excited for an Amazon Prime superhero universe over the MCU, I would have told you were nuts. I would have laughed at you. The MCU was the undisputed king of Hollywood. We all loved it. What could go wrong?
Hey.
In recent years, I think it's fair to say the climate around the MCU has changed pretty dramatically. It wasn't really that long ago that we were getting consistent quality out of the MCU, and good quality at that. Winter Soldier, Civil War, Doctor Strange, Homecoming, Ragnarok, Infinity War, all coming out within a 4-year time span. That was absolutely nuts. It shouldn't have worked, but it did. Yes, we got a few mediocre to not so great ones along the way, like Ant-Man and the Wasp. I'm a little bit unpopular here, but I wasn't a big fan of Guardians 2 and Black Panther. But fast forward to 2023, and Ant-Man and the Wasp is practically Oscar-worthy compared to their current stuff. While making this video, I started watching old MCU clips. It's as if those movies were made by a different studio. So, the title of this video, How the Boys Ruined the MCU. That's a pretty broad statement. How could the boys possibly ruin the MCU? After all, they are totally separate entities. So what I mean by that, was Eric Kripke flinging dog shit over Kevin Feige's walls every night to throw him off his game? I don't know, I wasn't there. Maybe he was.
What?
When I say the boys ruined the MCU, really the MCU ruined itself? It's not a coincidence that the MCU started to go belly up around the time Disney Plus launched. This is when Disney set mandates for Kevin Feige and Marvel to create content for Disney Plus. Can you even imagine the horror on his face when he was told that, to focus more on quantity over quality? He must have been devastated. I actually feel bad for him. He spent 10 years of his life creating the most successful franchise Hollywood has ever seen. The guy deserved the choice to do what he wanted to do. But no, he was forced to spew out all this lovely content for us to enjoy. The MCU wasn't built by Bob Iger or Bob Chapek. It was built by the comic nerds at Marvel Studios. And as is often the case with nerds, they get taken advantage of. Marvel Studios has been stretched too thin by the guys in suits. They've been given unrealistic goals that have forced the MCU to rush out their content. As a result, scripts are weak, cinematography is uninspired, sets are blue, CGI is laughable, dialogue is corny, and most importantly, the movies and TV shows just don't have anything to say anymore. That Marvel logo used to mean something. When we saw it and we heard that music coming in, we all felt giddy, hopeful, optimistic, ready to be entertained, because that's how Marvel had us conditioned. You expected their stuff to be good, and now we're hoping it's good. Gen V had its season finale recently, and I loved the show. In case you're not aware, Gen V is a spin-off of The Boys, and Gen V did exactly what Marvel used to do. The show itself is really good, but it also makes me more excited for what's to come.
He normally just lands.
Holy shit. Okay, please, let's go.
I am now dying to see The Boys Season 4, and I have to say this. Some of the casters of The Boys have grown into their characters so much that they can come into a spin-off show, say 5 lines in a post-credit scene, and leave you thinking, yep, that is the exact same character from The Boys. Carl Urban said 5 words, and all I could think about was, yep, that's Billy Butcher alright.
I bunch of
You see, The Boys indirectly ruined Marvel. As Marvel Studios' content continuing to go to shit, it left fans of the genre unsatisfied, still hungry for more. Marvel had dominated for a decade, but now they created a gap in their own market. I'll even admit, when the first season of The Boys came around, I saw the ads for it on YouTube. I thought it looked cheap and corny. I expected it to be like another terrible made-for-TV superhero show. Around this time I still had Marvel. I was satisfied. I would rather wait 5 months for the next Marvel movie than watch season 1 of The Boys. When season 2 came out, the buzz for the show reached an all-time high. It was hard to avoid. There was a lot of praise going its way. I was curious, so I started from season 1, and I wasn't ready. The show is great. It's actually incredible.
I'm stronger. I'm smarter. I'm better. I am better.
By all means, the show shouldn't work. The show is satirical in nature, essentially poking fun at the comic genre as a whole, and even the fans to an extent. But it also makes fun of companies like Disney. The fictional company in The Boys is essentially just Disney, and it's hilarious. The thing the show does really well, though, is mirroring our own world. The parallels between superheroes in The Boys and celebrities in our own world is a theme that is constantly played with. This really feels like how it would be if we had superheroes in the real world. Most of them would be assholes.
Here now. Keep believing. Grab Madeline. I need to talk to her about these talking points.
There wouldn't be a Spider-Man, or a Captain America, or a Superman. Instead of being superheroes, they'd be commodities, brands. I think the most important thing in any movie or show is having characters you care about. As long as you have that, the plot can be as simple as you like.
I love you too.
The Boys' plot is fairly simplistic, and that's a good thing in my books, as it allows for complexity in other areas. The show is essentially about a group of civilians who have all been done wrong by superheroes in some form or another, on a quest for revenge. All of their lives were ruined. They all live with constant anger in their hearts. And as they're living in squalor, their superheroes are living it up in Vought Tower, enjoying wealth and fame. I care about all the characters in The Boys. They feel like real people, and I'm genuinely concerned for all of them. Something I don't think any of us have felt for the MCU characters in a long time. Does anybody really care about Shang-Chi or the Eternals or maybe a bit of Moon Knight, anybody? Didn't think so. Even MCU characters I once cared for have gone to shit. I mean, what happened to Hulk? They took the enormous green rage monster and turned him into the big green pussy. Sam Wilson actually got worse by becoming Captain America. Nick Fury is a joke, Hawkeye is pathetic. It's a good thing that RDJ and Chris Evans got out there when they could, before Marvel ruined their characters as well. To me, character is everything. At the heart of every good show or movie, the characters you care for. Sure, the story is important, but you watch to see how the characters progress through the story. The story is just a vessel for the characters. And The Boys gets this. They understand this. The characters come first. The absolute core of the show, though, is Karl Urban's Billy Butcher and Anthony Starr's Homelander. The way that both of them grew into their characters is honestly incredible. When you go back and watch season 1, you can tell that they're still trying to find their characters, but when you watch season 2 and 3, they just nail it. They're dialed in.
Where's Ryan?
He's at 673 Nosh My Bollocks Ave. You want a pen and paper?
Their relationship, the way the two of them engage, is downright electrifying. Even at Marvel's best, they've never had this. I'll take Butcher and Homelander over Iron Man and Thanos any day. Most Marvel actors these days seem like they're playing themselves, and it really shows. It makes it feel as if the people at Marvel don't care anymore. When you see Karl Urban or Anthony Starr in interviews, you realize how much they're actually acting. Karl Urban is so laid back and relaxed in interviews, and he's so polite. And we all know how Billy Butcher is. The character he has crafted with the writers really stands out. Not only in the genre, but in media as a whole. I mean, no one says c*** like Karl Urban does. Then there's Anthony Starr. What he has done with Homelander is special. We're lucky to get a villain this good once a decade. Homelander is probably my favourite villain of all time. Not just supervillain, favourite villain.
I'd prefer to be loved, but if you take that away from me, being feared is A1 okie doke by me.
I want to talk a little bit now about how Gen V connects to The Boys. If somebody asked me a few months ago, would you want to see Homelander and Butcher in the spin-off show? I probably would have said no, why risk it? It could be a disaster. But they pulled it off seamlessly. The way they connected their two shows is like how Marvel used to connect their movies. It made total sense within their world. It wasn't done just for the sake of it. Even the way they incorporated Congresswoman Newman, or Grace Mallory, or even Ashley, it all felt natural and actually complemented Gen V, while setting up The Boys Season 4. That's how it's done. That's how you do it. Modern Marvel is all set up with no content. You watch a movie to see what's coming, without actually getting any lasting impression from what you just watched.
Thank you. I can see your garner, you disgusting fat. Get off the stage.
as I said earlier, the perception around Marvel has changed dramatically over the years, to the point where even diehard fans are finding it hard to defend. The audience is now a lot less forgiving, after being slapped in the face over and over. To me, it seems as if The Boys is where a lot of the fans of the genre are going to satiate their hunger for superhero content, because The Boys is made by people who actually care. The Boys never compromises on quality, and most importantly, they know the importance of keeping the story simple and giving us great characters. Like seriously, who cares about all of Marvel's multiverse stuff right now? Yeah, Spider-Man No Way Home was fun, and I'm sure Secret Wars will be entertaining enough as well, but honestly, I just want small-scale stories. Simplicity in story allows for complexity with the characters. What is the MCU even about right now? Like, can anybody tell me? Can Marvel tell me? Do they even know? And one more quick thing I want to mention here is the importance of good writers, especially writers who know how to write natural dialogue. Everything a character in The Boys says, I always believe that's what their character would say. Marvel has a serious writing issue, on all accounts. Stories have plot holes, characters are weak, dialogue is silly. I actually cannot watch Spider-Man Far From Home. And before you say that's Sony's fault, no it wasn't. The MCU Spider-Man films are produced by Marvel Studios and distributed by Sony. We see the same issues though in all Marvel's new content. The characters speak as if they are aware there's a camera.
I know you think none of us have noticed, Peter.
What?
But your new look.
Wait.
I love it.
No.
I mean, come on.
No.
Give it up. For
No.
So to conclude here, I really hope Marvel Studios gets back on track. I think their whole approach to Disney Plus has been an absolute disaster. I'm not going to sit here and blame Marvel Studios for this, as this clearly stems from higher up. It's not as if Kevin Feige just suddenly forgot how to make good movies. And it's not as if he lost the ability to identify what is good and what isn't. He was just put under too much pressure, and so was everybody at Marvel Studios. It seems to me as if even Disney themselves have spotted this issue, and they're going to start addressing it, with Bob Iger even saying they're going to start putting back on the content. I'm sure the people at Marvel are delighted to hear this, but let's just see if Disney follows through. In hindsight, I think Marvel shouldn't have even gone into the Disney Plus originals at all. First of all, Marvel stuff is really high budget, and with the current way streaming services work and make money, there is absolutely no way for these shows to be profitable. It doesn't matter how many subscribers your show brought in, if your show cost $200 million. Secondly, it also just devalues the Marvel IP. Once a thing is made for TV, I think to a lot of the audience, it just loses its glamour. Like it loses its appeal. I think it's fine to make some Marvel Disney Plus content, but only if somebody wants to actually make it, not because they're forced to make it. But primarily, I think Marvel should make stuff for theaters and just have Disney Plus be the home for it after a few months. As far as The Boys goes then, I just really hope they keep doing what they're doing, because I'm loving it.